Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for my first ever Prime 1 Studios 1/3 scale statue review. Now of course I had to kickstart my statue collecting journey with my favorite Batman of all time, Ben Affleck from BVS. Now technically this statue is based off his appearance in Suicide Squad, but the cool thing is he comes with a ton of BVS specific accessories, so he does work as a Batman from both films. Now I am planning on picking up Joker and Harley from Suicide Squad, as well as Batman and Superman from Justice League, so do let me know if you enjoyed the format, the layout of this review, because it'll be my blueprint going forward as I slowly build out my statue collection. Now, if you are looking to pick up Prime 1 Studios statues, going forward, Toys Wonderland will be stocking them on the site. Obviously, long since sold out pieces like this Batman are no longer available, but the newer stuff definitely will be. So potentially, if you are going to start your Prime 1 collecting journey along with me, Toys Wonderland can be your go-to place for statue pickups. Link for that is of course down in the description below. And the cool thing is they do have 12-month installment plans, which could technically come in handy because these bad boys are a little bit more pricey. So do take advantage of the payment plans if that's something you think would be beneficial. But either way, let's start talking about Batman. And before we talk about the statue himself, let's dissect the base because this thing is gorgeous. The cool thing here is that the Joker and the Harley statues have matching bases. Now there is a Deadshot as well, and I am tempted to pick him up, but I think a nice set of 3 will be a good number for Suicide Squad Batman with Joker and Harley on either side. I reckon that's going to be a badass display. Either way, this base looks awesome. It's got this very industrial look about it. There's barbed wire everywhere. There's kind of the suggestion of a tombstone that's been knocked over. Batman will be standing on top of that when we pop him on the base. It's cracked, it's weathered, there's a ton of paint and texture and detail here. And of course, up the front, you do have this really interesting chain link design where the chains come around, they're padlocked, and then the big honkin' BVS Bat brand smack bang in the middle. I'm a big fan of how this base looks. And then on the back, you do have this massive bat that's been sort of built out of this fence. You never really see this because it's in the background, but now that we don't have Batman on here, it's a great opportunity to admire it. It looks really cool. It's painted very nicely. There's a ton of texture in there, even though it's meant to be a flat metal, and there is a little bit of speckling on the surface just to give it that proper metallic look. But by far my favorite part about the base, and it's a darn shame it's on the back, is the fact that there is a Wayne name printed on the backside. It is properly sculpted in, so I don't exactly know why I said printed, but it looks really cool. It's sort of suggesting that maybe Batman is in a cemetery and he's standing on top of the broken down Wayne tombstones. I don't exactly know what they're going for here, but it looks great. I love the fact that Wayne is on the back there. It's a very nice touch. And of course, the stone looks very realistic. Now, I'm pretty sure you all want to see Batman, so now that we have him on the base, he looks awesome. Starting off with the boots first, there is a ton of paint here. Now, because this is a big honkin' statue, there won't be any articulation here, so they've gone all out with the sculpt, with the texture, and with the paint. And you can tell, this thing looks stunning. The boots themselves do have the gold caps on the front. There is a ton of mud flicked up on the sides. He's been running through the mud. You'll also see when we look at the cape in just a second, there is mud along the bottom of that as well. Now there's only one fabric piece here, or I should say pleather piece, and that is the cape. It's a proper pleather material. It's not sculpted, which I like. That means it drapes nicely, it doesn't have an overly plasticky look about it, it's an actual fabric piece, which to me is a really nice touch. Then we come to the start of his suit, being of course the legs. The cool thing about this suit is even though it's not an actual suit, they've done a ton of sculpting here to convince you when you just see him standing there that that is an actual suit. There are wrinkles, there are creases, you can see the musculature underneath, and then over the top of that, there's a bunch of paint. It's got a grey undertone, then there is that sort of screen printed style texture that's been painted in a darker grey, and then there's dirt and grime over the top of that in all of the crevices. The suit looks fantastic, exactly like I'd expect it to based off the film itself. And then we move up to the belt. This thing looks awesome as well. One of the complaints that a lot of people had with the half-scale version of BVS Batman was that the belt wasn't accurate. The pouches were far too far apart from one another, the spaces were too big, but here they remedied that. The belt is accurate to the movie, all of the pouches are sitting nice and close together, they're painted marvelously, they do have a proper metallic sheen to them, but they are weathered as well. You can see scratches here and there. This belt looks fantastic. Once again, it's fully sculpted. The only fabric piece here is the cape itself, compared to the half scale, which had an actual working belt. Now moving up to the torso. This guy is a chunky boy, as he should be. Ben Affleck as Batman was massive, and this statue is imposing. I don't think I've touched on this yet, but it definitely has a presence. When you walk into the room and see this thing, you're kind of a bit awestruck because it is a very, very impressive statue. Now, I'm coming from the background of not really loving statues. I haven't been a massive fan over the years, but when I first saw this thing in person at the Pop Culture Collector Gallery all the way back when we could actually go to stores when we were out of lockdown, I was really impressed and I knew right then and there I had to have him. And finally I do. He looks incredible. There's a ton of texture here. The paint applications are stunning. He's of course got that big honkin' BVS Bat logo there. I just love the way this guy looks. Now, as I said earlier, there are various swap out bits and pieces. We'll start with the right side first because that by far has the most variety. Now, one key piece that wasn't seen in Suicide Squad is the gas canister gun that Batman used against Superman and Doomsday. This piece comes with that, and it's awesome. It's painted really nicely, there's a ton of silver on there, we'll discuss the paint applications in just a second, but it looks fantastic. You also get the grappling gun, which is an iconic look for this version of Batman. You get a Batarang, and if you just want to go a little bit more sedate, you also get a regular closed fist. So yeah, a ton of options there. And then on the other side, we've got the Bat brand, which looks awesome. You have two options there as well. You can have the front section illuminated, if you will. It doesn't actually light up, it's just paint. Or you can swap it out for the one that looks like it's off. And then lastly, you of course have a regular closed fist. So a ton of variety there. That's another reason why I was drawn to this statue, because there are so many swap out bits and pieces. Now back over to the right side, I want to quickly discuss the paint applications and the sculpt on the weapons. First of all, the gas canister gun looks gorgeous. The sculpt is super sharp, there is a ton of paint here, it's got this silver dry brush over the surface, and it even has a teeny tiny serial number printed on the side of the gun. That right there is attention to detail. And then we also have the grappling gun. This might just be my favorite Batman grappling gun in cinematic history. I love the way this thing looks. It's so gothic, kind of steampunk vibes with the wooden handle with the big honkin' base so he smacks people with it. I love the way it looks, and it looks fantastic here as well. Now, I do want to discuss the one key reason why I decided to pick this guy up, because let's be honest, the 1/6 scale version of Batman has pretty much all of this stuff, and he can pull off this pose very easily. It's a super simple pose. The one key reason why I wanted to get this is, number one, the presence, but also the head sculpt. This is, in my opinion, one of the best Ben Affleck Batman head sculpts I have ever seen. It's truly spectacular. Now you do get two here. You get one just with the regular closed mouth, which I think is by far the best, and then you also have the overly grumpy mouth open expression. I'm not a huge fan of that one, but from certain angles it definitely can work, especially when he has that red hot illuminated bat brand. But for me, the regular closed mouth is the way to go. It looks exactly like Ben Affleck, I can see the likeness there. There is a ton of skin texture and detail and stubble. He also has his mole, which is accurate to Ben. I mean, I was blown away as soon as I got this guy in hand. It looks spectacular. Now, for some reason, Prime 1 pieces don't really show up as well in photos versus seeing them in person, so I do hope I've been able to do this guy justice throughout the course of the video. You also, though, get the angry open mouth expression. This one, as I said, can work in certain poses, but it's not my personal favorite. I just think the expression is slightly off here, but do let me know which expression you prefer down in the comments below. Just because I like the more simple one doesn't mean you have to. Another cool thing is you do get a swappable little pedestal to put the spare head sculpt on. Now, apparently Prime 1 have kind of stopped doing that as of late, but I really like it here. That means I can have one of these BVS cowls on my desk while I'm working and still be able to appreciate a second option. And if I do want to have it on the statue, I can very easily swap it out. It's all held in via magnets. So yeah, I love this piece. There's no two ways about it. It is the quintessential ultimate BVS Batman figure, or in this instance, statue, in my collection. I mean, if you are looking for the biggest, the baddest, yes, the half scale will be superior to this guy right here. But to be honest, I actually prefer the pose here. It's a little bit more dynamic, one leg up, you can swap out the various bits and pieces, whereas the half scale is literally standing up and down in a museum pose, not really doing much of anything. And you can't swap out any accessories or anything like that to spice it up. It's overly realistic and it looks awesome, but for me, this guy right here is the way to go. Now, if you are looking to pick him up, I got mine from a local collector, so always try your statue buy-sell trade groups. And if you are looking to pick up future Prime 1 products that are still on pre-order, such as Batman and Robin from Batman Forever, check out toyswonderland.com. Link for that is down below. They do have 12-month installment plans if you're a fan of paying off your figures over time. And also, let me know what you'd like to see next in terms of Prime 1 reviews. The Justice League Superman and Batman are almost here, so I could definitely follow this guy up with Superman, or if you want to see another Batman, I can just as easily do that. Let me know down below. Check out the link to 6th Scale Network, the awesome Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.